What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video here on the Samurai Radio Sports Network. I'd like to start off this video by giving you a quick update. I will only have 2 episodes out tomorrow by 5 o'clock for the new Miami Dolphins character franchise series. I haven't had enough time to edit it, and I am doing some stuff. I'm going to try to get a third done tomorrow morning, so I should hopefully have 3. If not, the next 2 would go up on Christmas Eve on Saturday. I do apologize for that. But I had to go Christmas shopping and finishing everything through. But you see it by the title. Let's get right into it. I have my Miami Dolphins mock draft number 3. So I will put up a 4th one most likely after the games this weekend. If not, you'll see one early Saturday morning before the game. So we're going to start off quickly, and you already see it on your screen. You've seen it for a while. And that's Zach Cunningham, who I picked with the first pick, 23 overall. On a site that I use. I'll put it down in the description below if you guys want to try it with your favorite teams or with the Miami Dolphins you want to. It's fanspeak.com/ontheclock. Their on-the-clock service has a 2017. You could pay if you want some other things. I personally don't do that. But I really enjoy it. It has all the players that are predicted to be in the NFL draft this year, and it runs with schedule every Tuesday. It updates after the games. I think it's a very great service to use. If you want to use it, go check it out. It'll be one of the top links in the description down below. Not sponsored at all, but I just really enjoy it. I found it, and I think it's really awesome to do these mock videos with. So we're going to start off with his defensive stats. I'm not going to put it up on the screen just because it's way too small for you guys to see, and I haven't gone that deep into Premiere Pro be able to enhance it and still make it look nicer. So we're going to hop right into it. His defensive stats for this year, he has played 12 games. He is a junior at Vanderbilt, which is the SEC. 12 games, 68 solo tackles, 51 assisted, 119 total, 16.5 for loss. He has 0 sacks this year, but he does have 3 pass defense, 4 fumble recoveries, and 2 forced fumbles. He's got 6 for his career in the forced fumble department, and he has 6 sacks for his career. Obviously, he's a linebacker. He's more of a middle linebacker than anything else, and I do think that Zach Cunningham is probably the best middle linebacker in the draft that not a lot of people are talking about. I've done this draft multiple times in the past week, and I couldn't believe that he kept falling to me. He would fall, Jabril Peppers would fall, and so would Reuben Foster. And I would think that the 22 teams before me would pick him, but none of them did, and so Zach Cunningham kept falling to me. And watching his tape, there's another YouTube channel that I like to use. It's called CFB Film Room. That link will also be down in the description below. But I use them a lot to watch film on certain players. And whenever I watch Zach Cunningham's film, he is just such a smart football player in terms of he has a great IQ. And he's just a very great player. He's going to get the tackles needed. He'll wrap the guys up. Like I said, he has a great IQ. He gets to the ball behind the line of scrimmage. Obviously, you see he's got 16.5 tackles for loss, and he has 119 tackles through 12 games. Imagine what he could do in the NFL for the rest of that if starting. So I very much like Zach Cunningham. Now, the next person we go to is David Njoku. I think that's how you say his name. He is a current tight end. He's a junior for the Miami Hurricanes. I don't know if he's been officially announced in being in the draft or not. But he's definitely had a really good year, and he's projected to go in the mid-second, early third round, and I picked him up with my second-round pick because I really needed a tight end, and Butt was already gone, and so was Alabama's tight end. I can't remember his name right now, but they were already taken in the first round, so I was thinking about taking a tight end later, but I decided to take one now. I would think that we would desperately need one. Obviously, not knowing what free agency entitles yet, so we don't know. But I decided to go with David Njoku. I really liked his stats so far. So once again, this is a guy not a big target on that offense. Usually they go to the wide receivers, and they like to do a running game as well. But he's a guy 6'4", 245. He's a junior from the Hurricanes, number 86. This year so far, he's had 38 receptions, 654 yards, a 17.2 average per catch. 76 is his longest catch, and he's had 7 touchdowns. And I think he's been pretty productive. His highest catch game came against Pittsburgh. He had 6 receptions for 86 yards and a 14.3 average. And his longest was a 30, and he had 2 touchdowns in that game. That was on November 5th. And he was playing very, very productive football against Appalachian State. He had a great game, had a good game against Florida Atlantic. Against Florida State, he was only limited to 3 receptions for 17 yards. But I think looking at his tape, he's a guy who can become a very good football player in the NFL, and I think he has a very high upside rather than a very high downside. So I think he can become a very good player, and he was the best tight end available. I felt like I needed to take a tight end there, and I thought that he could have been the best possibility at that position at the time that I needed it. So once again, that's the guy right there, which is David Njoku, however you say his name, from the Miami Hurricanes. Then in our 3rd round pick, we picked Tyler Orlovsky. Orlovsky. I don't know how to say it really perfectly, but it's a guy out of West Virginia, an offensive lineman, and right now he's considered one of the top center prospects, and I didn't understand really why a top center prospect fell to me in the 3rd round, especially late 3rd round, because that's the projected pick that we're going to get for Olivier Vernon when he signed with the New York Giants and the compensatory pick. And what a lot of NFL scouts are saying, and I'm getting this from CBS Sports, is, quote, I get excited when I can use words like nasty and warrior in my lineman reports, and both these words sum up number 65, talking about Orlovsky. He might not be the best athlete or technician, but he has the awareness, aggressiveness, and inner confidence required to get the job done, end quote. That was from an AFC North scout. And when I watched some of his tape from like some very good places to get the tape from on YouTube, I really liked where he was, and I agree with this AFC North scout. I think he's very aggressive. I think he has a high awareness. I think there could be some footwork things that he could need to get done there. But besides that, I think the Dolphins really need to get a backup tight end in case of Mike Pouncey getting injured again, or maybe not being able to continue his career. And I think that this guy could be a perfect replacement, especially in a late 3rd round prospect. I think he could be a very good guy. And now we go to my favorite prospect in the NFL draft. And I know you're saying, listen, favorite prospect in the NFL draft, this is a 5th round guy, early 5th rounder. What are you talking about? I'm telling you guys, this is my favorite prospect. Last year, my favorite prospects were Paul Perkins and Carl Nassib. Nassib is currently on the Cleveland Browns, unfortunately. I really wanted the Dolphins to draft him. He was a walk-on from Penn State, led the SEC in sacks last year. I think he led the nation in sacks, actually, and he was just absolute beast. I think he's been playing very well for the Cleveland Browns when he's been on the field. And then Paul Perkins, you see him getting those small roles with the New York Giants. I think he should get a bigger role. I considered him a baby beast mode when he was coming out of college from UCLA, so I really liked him. This is a guy, a late prospect, who I think is one of the best defensive backs in the draft, and that's Witherspoon. Dude's 6'3", 195. He wears number 23 for Colorado, and his stats don't show it. And I'm going to say it before we start off. This year, as a senior, he's had 13 games played, 18 solo tackles, 4 assists. That's only 22 tackles, only 1 interception, but he has 18 passes defended, 1 fumble recovery, and 1 forced fumble. And the reason why I think that 18 passes defended or deflections is so important is because this is a guy 6'3", big corner. The Dolphins defensive coordinator, Vance Joseph, likes big corners. Granted, we might not need to draft a corner. We might not have to. I feel like our corner position is pretty solid. Now everyone's playing to their positions. But if we need to grab a guy late, let's say right now, I don't think they would grab another offensive lineman back-to-back like that. And I think Witherspoon is the perfect guy to go to here. He has, if you watch his tape, you go to any place where you can watch his tape. A lot of it's really highlights, but you can see some stuff from what Colorado puts up because they put up a lot of videos of their players. So you could just type in a Witherspoon tape, and you'll find a lot of great things from him. But he is just aggressive in the air for the ball. I think there could be some things done in terms of footwork, just like with Orlovsky, in terms of he needs to be a little more sound on some technical things. But I think this guy, big physical corner, 6'3", like I said. I mean, dude's huge at 195. I think he'd be very good for the Miami Dolphins. He's definitely going to be great when the ball's in the air. I think he just needs to work on some coverage things as well as some technical things. I feel like the Dolphins can help him with that, and he'll become very good for us. Next guy we have is Greg Pike, offensive guard out of Georgia. And I haven't seen a lot on Pike, and the only reason why I picked him here is he was the best guard there. But just reading off of what Georgia's website has, 2016 appeared in 12 games, making 12 starts at right tackle, first team preseason All-SEC, as selected by the league's coaches, earned Coffee County Hustle Award for exhibiting the most desire during spring drills, recipient of the Robert P. Yank Ludwig football scholarship. So he was in the All-SEC second team last year, and he was in the All-SEC first team as well. But this is a guy who I thought, after watching a couple things, like I said, I haven't watched much. After watching a couple things, I thought he did have a lot of technical issues. I think he is definitely a work in progress, but I feel like he could be a nice guy that they could try to build up. Your franchise is not going to fold over a late 5th round pick. I think you could take a couple of risks here. The same thing with Akilo Witherspoon. I think you could definitely take a couple of risks here. So moving on from Greg Pike, we go to Deshaun Hand. Now, I don't believe that Deshaun Hand has officially declared for the draft, and I really don't think that he will, considering the fact that he hasn't had a very good year this year. He's only got 19 tackles, 2.5 of them were for loss, and only has 1 sack, only 6 in his career. But if he does end up coming into the draft, I think he is a guy that you could take a chance on late in the 6th round, very late in the draft. I think he's from Alabama. That's a very defensive school. Nick Saban knows how to run a defense. I think that they could be a very high upside. Once again, I think this is a guy with a lot of upside. You'll definitely need to work on him. It'll probably be a year or two of a job to do. I don't think he'll stay for his senior year, but once again, you never know. This is college football. Sometimes players declare. But I think that if he does declare and the Dolphins do pick him up, maybe he becomes a practice squad guy, or he fights for that spot on the roster, which I think he can very much do. I don't believe that we'll be keeping Mario Williams or Jason Jones, and I think Andre Branch might command way too money to bring him back. So this could be a guy that we could work on and try to get into a starting role early and see what he can do. The next guy, another guy who I really like, but he's someone who you're not going to see a lot out of, and this is Dylan Donahue. Now, Donahue, I feel like, has been playing very, very well this year, and it kind of shows in his stats. So far this year, he has 52 total tackles, 16.5 of which are for loss. And then he has 11 sacks, 1 forced fumble. Dude has been an absolute beast, and I feel like he's one of those guys, even though they're playing in a not necessarily a great conference. I mean, this guy's playing West Alabama, Delta State University, Mississippi College, Northwest Missouri, so they're not playing great teams, but I feel like he could be a definite guy that could come out and make some plays. He is a senior, so he will be declaring for the draft, and I think he could be very productive for the Dolphins. Once again, I think he's going to kind of play the role of a red shirt for the Dolphins. I doubt he'll really get anything done for us, but I do think he'll end up playing that red shirt freshman role for the Dolphins, just kind of like they wanted to do with Thomas Duarte and what they're doing with Brandon Doughty. And I think they'll probably redshirt him and put him on the practice squad, or if not, use him in some special teams play. But that's another guy who I really, really enjoy and I really like watching. So I hope you guys did very much enjoy it. Remember, all the links for everything that I wanted to put are in the description below. You'll have the link for fanspeak.com, and they're on the clock. It'll take you right there. And then I'll have a link down below in the description for CFB Film Room. Even though I'm not using any of their stuff here, I do think it's nice to link it, because if you guys want to do any of the scouting stuff that I do, maybe let me know about some players you really like. You can put it down in the description below. And CFB Film Room has film on hundreds of thousands of players, and it's so much fun to just sit there and watch if you're a guy who likes football like me. So hope you guys did very much enjoy. Leave a like on the video and subscribe if you are not subscribed to the YouTube channel, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.